We are back in the trunk. I'm having some weird things with the driver's side turn signal light. It's not working at all. I checked the lamp and I swapped the lamp with this one. It's not the lamps. It's acting like it's searching for ground because it's doing strange things. And I think I'm finding the answer here and in the wiring bundle, where it looks like either something has corroded through, but I suspect this is where we're having our issues. So here I am inside the trunk. The gruesomeness of the wires is undeniable. So we went up to the connector right here. There. And we disconnected it. And at the connector, with my test light, that will give me flashing turn signal, pass side. That will give me license plate and running lights. And the green wire gives me nothing. So the problem is somewhere that way. So I was having an issue with the turn signal lamp passenger side front. When the parking lights were on, it was on bright illumination like you're supposed to have for turn signal. Well, I removed the lamp and here was the issue. It still works, but it's rotating in the base, and I suspect the filaments are crossed. So a new lamp solved the problem. So I've got passenger side blank. And I have that. And you can see the test light is working. The driver's side, kind of still fast blank. Nothing here and nothing there. Here's the driver's side sill plate removed. This will polish up in nice shape. Look at the lack of corrosion on the underside. These things are generally beat to crap. What a nice sill plate. Even the carpet shows very little signs of corrosion. So I'm going to remove this wire cover to see if we might have a wiring problem in there as we continue to investigate the turn signal. So I have the kick panel removed, which exposes a wiring bundle here. And the first thing I'm noticing is a red wire that is corroded loose. That terminal is completely gone. I'm not sure what that red wire feeds, but what we're looking for is a green wire going back for a turn signal. So we'll start probing. Getting this protective panel off is a little more involved than what you would think, because it goes all the way back and is anchored way in the back with a screw and another screw. So you have to take the rear quarter panel off, which isn't that big of a deal. But I see I don't have a vapor barrier here. So it would tell me somebody's been in here before. But back to the issue at hand, which is the wiring. So in this channel, for this car, there are 3 sets of wires. This set is for the power windows. It goes back and then into the console, hitting those switches. And this car has a rear speaker, so that's what that Romex wire is. And then you've got this laced bundle, and that is our turn signal wires. And we can give that an inspection to see if there's a problem. So I pulled apart the connectors, which is going to give me a lot better access to things. And so there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there simply isn't anything on the other side. But if I pan up, do you see what I'm seeing? Apparently the wires have been chafing. And see how the insulation is all worn off. I don't know what that means, but it can't be good. So this white one, that is B2. It runs the left and right backup lights. Next one is brown. That's wire D7. D7 is the right tail and signal light. The wiring diagram says there's nothing in slot 7. We agree on that. This yellow wire is M2. Trunk light. Now we'll go to the other side here. Terminal 4 is D8. D8 is a dark green. Say hello. D8 left tail stop and turn signal light. Okay, I am feeding the females. This is currently, well, position 2. And this gives me low intensity driver's side rear light. The dark green gives me bright. Those are working. Power to the white, which is the backup, and I have passenger side backup, no driver. I suspect the lamp I will check. This is the socket they have in the driver's side backup. There you can see the passenger side's on. So this is a replacement. Apparently they've had to replace that socket at some point. I can't tell if that is any good or not. It is all locked up. If I get the bulb out of it, I will break it. But if I put the test light on here, I do get continuity. So, believe it or not, even though these wires look terrible, they're all working. Jumper to the pink, and I replaced the trunk lamp, which didn't have one. It's a 1004, and now I have trunk light too. So the conclusion is the wiring from here to the back of the car, even though it looks gruesome, is functional. I have to replace one backup light socket. This broken pink wire is just for the trunk light. However, the fact that I'm not getting the signals that I want out of this section tells me the turn signal switch needs to be checked. Have you ever wondered how the power gets to the stoplights in the tail of the 1960 Chrysler? It's not as simple as what you would think. See, why we're looking at the headlight switch? Well, power from the battery ends up going to the headlight switch. And you see that connection here, D3, that comes off of the auxiliary terminal, see it? That wire runs to the brake light switch. From the brake light switch, D4 runs, see it right there, to the turn signal switch. From the turn signal switch, if you just want your brake lights on, it connects terminal 5 to 5. That's an error in the diagram that's missing the line. And from 5, as you see, it runs the stoplights. It runs out of the turn signal switch to this connector, which then goes to the body connector, which you find in the kick panel area. And then from the kick panel, it runs along the sill plate to the trunk loom and to the lights. The reason they run the stop lights, the brake lights, to the turn signal switch is so that when you are making a turn and activate the turn signal switch, that it can interrupt one light and flash the other light. So that's why you see lines 4 and 6 are separate lines. That is to say, when you depress the brakes and the stoplight switch closes, she comes in on 5, and the turn signal switch, which is in the neutral position, will feed lines 4 and 6, which feeds the left and the right bright stop lamps. You wouldn't think that the power would be coming out of the headlight switch, but it actually is. Now, you see T there, also comes out of the headlight switch, running line L7. That is for the rear park lights. So the tail lights, when they're on, dim. That's what feeds that. And of course, that's logical because the headlight switch will turn on your parking lamps. But you wouldn't expect that the headlight switch is going to be the source for tail lamps. I mean to say, the source for your stop lamps. 60, 61, yes it is. 62, I got to go look at. I don't know. Anyway, that will help us diagnose what is wrong with my stop lamps. And that's all the more there is to it. Another Saturday morning, we're back into diagnosing electrical issues with the Black F Coupe2. Here it is, the middle of October, central New York, 75 degrees out there, raining with a tornado warning. We never get tornado warnings. So, which is down here under the master cylinder, and you can see I have it jumped. From the stoplight switch, it goes to the turn signal switch. And if the turn signal switch is not energized, it sends juice back to both rear taillights. And I have both rear taillights. That tells me that much of the wiring is working. My problem is when I activate the driver's side turn signal, I get nothing back here. Now I do have the park lights on, which is why you have a low glow here. If I turn the signal switch to the other side, the brake light comes back up and you have blink. So I think the problem is with the turn signal switch. Replace the lamp socket on the driver's side. When I jump the connector, I get backup lights both sides. When I push the reverse button, I don't. So perhaps we have an issue up there with the switch. Note for later date. But this is how I'm currently jumping it.